fellow readers, I am a spectacled reader, and I thought that alongside my usual book reviews and reading tips and that sort of thing, I'd also do a series called Spotlight On, where I discuss authors of different nationalities, different genres, races, sexualities, etc., and kind of highlight the best of those. So today I thought I would discuss some black authors who are really worth reading. So without further ado, here we go. The first author and series I'd like to talk about is Malorie Blackman, who's a British author, and she wrote the Noughts and Crosses series. There are currently 5 parts to it: Noughts and Crosses, Knife Edge, Checkmate, Double Cross and Crossfire, and a 6th part was announced last year, which is going to be called Endgame. And Noughts and Crosses is set in an alternate reality where race relations are flipped on their head. So it really gives Malorie an opportunity to show how segregation and discrimination can be really built into a society. And against this, Malorie Blackman has played the story of 2 star-crossed lovers. So we have Sephi, who is a cross, part of the upper ruling black class, and Callum, who is a Nought, part of the lower white class. She really does highlight some massive issues, such as violent protest to enforce change, and the problems with an education system where some people are getting a better education than others simply because of the colour of their skin. Some of you might know the BBC recently did a televised version of Noughts and Crosses, and it is still on iPlayer, so if you hurry along to there, you might still be able to watch it as well, which I do recommend doing. The second book I'd like to talk about is Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, and this book was written in 1952, but the writing is so brilliant and so passionate that it still feels very contemporary and very relevant. It's a powerful work about race and personal identity and becoming yourself, how you can claim your own identity. And it has an unnamed narrator who travels from the deep south to Harlem in New York and experiences bigotry at every single turn as a black man. And he feels that he can't be his own person, he can't be an individual because society continuously defines him and pigeonholes him based purely on the colour of his skin. And he's expected to think, speak and behave a certain way, and he's alternately stereotyped as an uneducated Negro, the man of the future, or someone who should just focus purely on reclaiming their African heritage. And he's manipulated and exploited, and his own voice is stifled amongst the expectations and perceptions of others. And this book tells the powerful message of how to be yourself and how to be true to yourself and authentic against overwhelming odds. So here's a quote from the book that I really love. "It took me a long time and much painful boomeranging of my expectations to achieve a realization everyone else appears to be born with, that I am nobody but myself." And I think that that's a message that we can all take something from, no matter what our background is, because being who you are is one of the most important things about the human experience. The third book I'd like to talk about is Beloved by Toni Morrison, and this is a horror story, but the true horror comes not from the ghost of the main character, Seth's infant daughter, but from her very real experiences and memories of slavery. After escaping from Sweet Home Farm, Seth makes the heartbreaking decision to kill her child rather than risk her being enslaved should they both be recaptured. And things take a sinister turn when a young woman who is the manifestation of Seth's daughter, as she would have been if she'd lived, turns up on their doorstep and starts to come between Seth and Paul D, who is another former slave with whom she's beginning to find some happiness at last. And the malevolent presence of Beloved is really striking throughout the book. I know it sounds a little bit far-fetched as a plot, but it genuinely is one of the most moving and emotional books I've ever read, and I really do recommend it. Seth's experiences of being a slave and of the debasing treatment that she's forced to endure at the hands of her owners make this a really important book to read, and it should come as no surprise that Toni Morrison won a Nobel Prize in Literature. So those are just 3 authors I've discussed today, and there are so many more out there, and I'd like to make a video in future about them, and they include James Baldwin, Zadie Smith, Maya Angelou, and Alice Walker, amongst many others. I'm aware that today has been rather a more serious video than perhaps some of my other ones, but I think that it's really important to highlight authors of different experiences than our own, which is why I really wanted to talk about them today. If there are any authors that I've missed out that you love, please do let me know down in the comments below and I can have a look at them for a future video. If you've enjoyed this video, please click that like button, or you can even subscribe to be told when I post new videos. They go up every Thursday. Thank you for watching. Bye!